What's going on YouTube? It's your boy Jeffo coming at you with another video, man. So this morning I had dropped a video. I don't know if anyone saw it yet. I haven't really checked the stats, but I wanted to hit you with another I guess finding another understanding of how to figure things out when you don't know how. So like I said before, I kind of like just flow with the topic. Like I have the concepts and I try to break down that concept and basically understand like all that makes it up, like what makes it tick, what makes it work, like the whys and stuff, right? So you figure out something and you figure out the whys as you go on. Sometimes you want to have like a plan, but I find out like when you have plans, sometimes it doesn't go exactly the way it's supposed to go. So you want to have that fluidity in it. But this right here is very, very important because this has helped me with a lot of the stuff that I couldn't figure out, or I felt stuck, or because the main thing that you do to, get out of a rut, right, is basically you look at what you're trying to do, right? Then you figure out why you want to do it. Trust me, I'm gonna get into like basically the whole entire like thing, right? So I'm gonna walk you through this. You gotta figure out why you want to do this, and once you figure out why you want to do this, the reason has to be stronger than just wanting money or just wanting a status, just wanting something. It has to be stronger than that, because what ends up happening is you lose interest. And when you lose interest, you don't want to do this stuff. You're not putting the effort in it. Now, I'm not saying that when you like pick the thing that you want to do for the rest of your life, you're not going to lose interest as well. But there's more of a grasp. And the way that you figure out is if you're doing it more like for more than yourself. Because if you're doing it more than for yourself, then you have another reason to keep going. Because if you're just doing it for self can get tired, self can get bored, self can get disinterested in whatever you're trying to do. So like when you do it for something more than yourself, you figure out a reason. I apologize about this. Whenever a video is happening, something always is going on. But we're gonna get through this topic. But okay, so you figured out what you want to do. You figured out why you want to do it. Now the next step in like achieving that goal is basically doing just that. You need to do just that. Okay, so I'm gonna explain to you what doing just that means. It means you've picked whatever you wanted to do and you're just doing that said thing, right? Of course, duh. But you're not changing your plan. You're not trying to do something completely different. You're sticking to that route. And why you want to do this, right, is because when you are focusing all your energy on that said topic, when you're focusing your energy on that said goal or something, what ends up happening is you start doing little milestones, right? Those milestones may be you're able to do things quicker, right? You're able to understand whatever the thing that you're doing a little bit more, right? And when you're doing this over and over and over and over and over and over again, it starts becoming muscle memory, right? So when it becomes muscle memory, things kind of become easier for you to figure out different ways to do things. And that is how you end up learning, and that's how you end up mastering things, right? You keep doing the same thing over and over and over and over and over again, right? You've mastered that said task in that said field or whatever you're trying to do, and then you start gaining a little bit more knowledge. So instead of just staying in that same like niche, you start like stacking up the wins, right? Instead of just expanding in like, you know, different other realms. Because when you expand, you're not really getting like what is it called, you're not really getting more in it. Like, you're just staying in that same spot because you're not doing anything to progress whatever you're trying to do. Now when you start doing that same exact thing, like what I said, that you get better, you get better at it, you get better at it, you get better at it, get better at it, right? And once you keep getting better at it, you it becomes muscle memory. So you no longer have to think about it, right? And when you no longer have to think about doing something, it takes less energy. So your energy goes into another thing within that subject to get better at it. If that I hope it's making sense. Like, you get better at whatever you're trying to do because because what you're doing becomes muscle memory. You know what I mean? And you just keep doing it, keep doing it, keep doing it. That is how you become successful in that thing. So what ends up happening after that, because there's other levels to it, you become so good at that said tasks, that you start getting creative in that said field. And that is what you want. You want to be creative. That you want to chase that creative juice. This is why it needs to be better than you. It needs to, I mean, not better than you. It needs to be better. It needs to be more than yourself. You need to do it for other people because you need that why. And it's not going to happen overnight. It's going to take, I'm going to be honest with you, it's going to take years. It takes years to get to what you need to do. This is why you need to pick something that actually means something. And you can do this at any age, but it's going to take time. And this is what makes it valuable. You want it to take time, right? Because you know you're doing something valuable. I don't know anything that you can just get in one day that is, I wouldn't say valuable, but that's going to last for, ever. Like, that grind that makes you get into it makes you proud of it. When you're proud of doing that said task, or proud of getting that achievement, that is when life starts making sense. But what's going to happen is, when you do it, you sleep, 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 you do it, you sleep. That sleeping, what I've noticed with that sleeping, when you constantly do something and you go to sleep, you start getting other ideas, and that's where that creativeness comes from, right? So that rest that you had, and you're no longer thinking about, okay, let's say you have to, like, what was on a job that I used to do? I used to do HVAC, right? I used to work on new constructions. Climbing the ladder was a fear of mine. Like, heights was like a big fear of mine. But like, once I started like doing it and doing it and doing it and doing it, like, I was climbing ladders like it was like nothing. And so I didn't even think about climbing ladders. Being in like the ceiling wasn't scary anymore. I was walking with things in my hands, like, and holding things, going up and down and up and down. This is because I was doing this like every single day. So it became muscle memory. And once that became muscle memory, I was able to be more efficient. Not only was I being able to become more efficient, I became better at my craft. So the mistakes that I was making because I was thinking of the height no longer existed. What I was doing was getting another task to get better at. And once I got that done, I was able to move on to something different. And I was able to move on to something different, so I kept getting better and better and better and better. And it took less time for me to do that said task. And not only was it taking less time, it was taking less energy to do that said task as well. So it was like, you kept doing it, you kept doing it, you kept doing it, you kept doing it. And you just master that craft. And then you may get lucky enough to be like, hey, I might teach someone else to do it. And then once you start doing that, then you start bringing value to the world. And once you start bringing value to the world like that, like, that is when things start getting a little bit better. So you want to keep doing things more for yourself so you can end up bringing value to the world.